like films about cops, where the good guys chase the bad guys. But honestly, these days, I'm more drawn to the ones on the edge. The bad guys with a badge. City That Never Sleeps seems like one of those. A cop who wants to walk away. He's cheating on his wife. He takes a job from a shady attorney to drive a criminal out of town before he starts talking. For a noir made in the 50s, that's already pushing it. That was a time when cops were usually untouchable. But this film doesn't paint him as a villain. It just drops us into the night, into a city that never sleeps and doesn't let you go. Then the story branches out. A father who's still on the force, a younger brother about to slip, a dancer with a one-way ticket, a man pretending to be a robot in a club window, a magician turned criminal flipping the game, blackmail, misdirection, pressure building. And all of it leads to one night's breaking point. It doesn't try to impress you. It just lets the night play out, slightly off, slightly tense. And when you see it through his eyes, you start to get why it sticks with you.
Car 749, going in on that call at 825 Sedgwick.
Car 749, okay.
The main character is on night duty. A Chicago cop who's already made up his mind. He's leaving the force, leaving his wife, and leaving town with a woman he barely knows, but who seems like a way out. The resignation letter is written. All that's left is to make it through the night. But the city doesn't let you walk away that easily. It doesn't block your path. It pulls you back in. Quietly, gradually, and then all at once. Everything he thought he'd left behind starts coming back at him, one piece at a time. A new partner appears, calm, a little too observant. Then comes a job offer. Simple on the surface, but something feels off. His younger brother shows up in the wrong place with the wrong people. And finally, his father, a longtime detective who's still on the job, still out there tonight. And it all unfolds like background noise at first. Just another call, another face, another building in a city that never stops moving. But soon, it starts to feel like the whole night is slowly folding in on him. The film starts placing its pieces. A dancer finishing her last set. A man in a shop window pretending to be a machine but seeing everything. A former magician slipping back into old tricks. Only now the stakes are real. An attorney with all the leverage and no control. And the scenes that first seemed disconnected begin to shift, pressing in, pushing back, staying one step ahead of the man we're following. Each one quietly waiting to see what he'll do next. The film doesn't hurry, it doesn't explain. It lays everything out and leaves space for us to start noticing how the choices ripple, how one action sets up another, how every move nudges someone else into place. And what makes it work isn't a big twist or a single moment of truth. It's the fact that time doesn't stop. The clock keeps ticking, and whether he's ready or not, morning is coming. What makes this more than just another noir, and why that matters? We'll get to that next. City That Never Sleeps is about a man who almost turns the wrong way and realizes just in time that he can't. The main character is a patrol officer in Chicago, worn down and uncertain. He's already packed his decision. He's still in uniform, but you can tell he's almost gone. But the night doesn't go as planned. The city doesn't confront him. It just tightens. The thief, once a magician, is one of the sharpest figures here. Smart, focused, precise. He breaks in, leaves a note instead of a document, vanishes as a detective. At first, you respect his moves, but when pressure hits, he turns cold, fast. Not theatrical, not cartoonish, just dangerous. He's the kind of person who pulls others down by seeming in control. Then there's the attorney. He has money, connections, and that old sense of certainty. But he's already out of step. He thinks he still runs things, and quickly finds out he doesn't. The officer is caught between these two. He's not slick, not powerful. but he still has time to figure out who he is and what side he's on. There's also the actor in the storefront window, posing as a robot. He seems like a gimmick until he steps out, not to be heroic, just because he's done pretending. That small act says more than any speech could. It makes you wonder, why is he even there? Why does someone who wants to perform stand behind glass, miming silence? The film doesn't answer, but it lets you see. This is what surviving looks like in this city. And it doesn't need to explain it. You feel it. This isn't a film that teaches. It just lines up moments, small, real, loaded, and lets you follow. You don't watch someone win. You watch someone come back to themselves. And when it counts, they don't step off the edge. That's enough. That's what makes the film compelling. Not style, not tension, but how clearly it sees what most stories miss. That a turning point isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just not making the mistake, right when you could have. And all of this plays out inside the city that never sleeps. Not just a backdrop, but a presence, watching without interfering. It sees who's running, who's pretending, who's holding on. Everyone, the cop, the thief, the dancer, the actor, the lawyer, reflects something the city already knows. And the city reflects something back. That's why it's worth watching. Not just for the story, but for what it stirs in you, if you're really paying attention. And it quietly asks, what would you do if this were your moment? Would you even notice before the choice was gone? This is a film about choices that don't come with fanfare, about pressure that builds slowly, and a city that sees everything, even when no one's looking. It's a film for those who don't need fast pacing to stay interested, who are more curious about what someone's going through than what they're chasing. If you like stories that unfold quietly, moment by moment, this one stays with you, because it shows a man almost giving up and then choosing not to. And if you love noir, this absolutely delivers. There's shadow and crime, tension and temptation, but at the center is something deeper. A cop who isn't perfect, who hesitates, and still decides to do what's right. Not because he's a hero, but because he knows what it means to stay. And in a city that never sleeps, sometimes that's all it takes.